We are going to go over a pregame for the Washington Commanders versus the Cleveland Browns, and we're going to do it right now. And welcome everybody back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. My name is Greg and I am your host. This channel, of course, is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure that you have subscribed to this channel and also make sure you hit that notification bell so you won't miss any other video releases. So the Washington Commanders are going to be hosting the Cleveland Browns this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to start basically almost an entire month home for the Washington Commanders, which will be really good for them. And even the road game is just like 20 minutes up the road to Baltimore. So honestly, the Commanders are pretty much at home for the entire month of October. And looking ahead, I think they only have maybe like 5 road games left, 4 or 5 road games left. So, it's interesting to feel that getting through this first quarter of the season, the Washington Commanders, obviously starting off much better than anybody could have ever anticipated. And with that, being 3-1 and heading into these next slate of games, things are looking up. But as always, we have to look at injuries because injuries can really change the complexion of a football team. And for the Washington Commanders, we definitely have some injuries for some key players, and we have really got to be able to see what's going to happen with that. I'm going to take a look at the injury report for the Washington Commanders, and if we look at it, we can see that now this was the injury report from yesterday, Thursday. Excuse me. We have yet, of course, later on today, we will get an injury update, and this will probably be the final status for the week for today, Friday. But as you can see, one player in particular I wanted to pick out that did not practice. Actually, 2, but one in particular, Brian Robinson Jr., has a knee injury. And this is huge because, Austin Ekeler, he's still under concussion protocol as far as I know. He was limited Wednesday, and it was a full practice on Thursday, which is very good news for us. Hopefully, he's going to be cleared to play, and I guess we will get that report today later on, and if so, maybe we can see if we can try to report on that. But that's going to be big because Brian Robinson, if he's out, and it looks like he may be out for this game with a knee injury, he hasn't practiced all week long. This is a huge blow to the Washington Commanders offense. Guard Nick Allegretti was limited Thursday, didn't practice Wednesday. Hopefully let's see if he can have a full practice today. But we need that offensive line intact, man. Dominic Hampton, linebacker, he was full. Safety Tyler Owens was limited. Of course, we talked about Brian Robinson Jr. Noah Brown has a groin injury, didn't practice yesterday. He was limited on Wednesday. So we need to watch out for that. Noah Brown has been a pretty good addition for us. I mean, he hasn't came in and blown everything up, but I mean, he has made the catches when he needed to make the catches. And so we can definitely use Noah Brown, but if he's not able to play, then we've got some wide receivers who can come in and step up. But, with his size, I really would like to see Noah Brown out there. Early morning podcast means that your co-host has to have his coffee. Percy Butler, safety, he's been limited all week long, also with a groin injury. Austin Ekeler, as we had talked about, he was full practice yesterday. That's very good news. If Brian Robinson can't go, we're going to have to heavily rely on Austin Ekeler. Johnny Newton, full practice. Hopefully, we're going to get Johnny back. That would be great. Curtis, Emmanuel Forbes was, he's been full practice, but he's going to remain on the injury report. He played last week, so we know he's going to play. The rest of these guys all full practice. Even Marcus Mariota. So the one that stands out the most, Brian Robinson Jr. And again, we're going to have to watch that because we need him. I mean, even if Austin Eckler is fully healthy, we need him. Now, McNichols came in and played really well. So if Brian Robinson Jr. can't go, we know that McNichols is going to have to step in and play like he did last week. Now, notice how the coffee sipping seems to be the great segue. So now we want to look at the injury report for the Cleveland Browns. So if we look at that, Nick Chubb's running back for the Cleveland Browns, he's limited. He's got a knee injury as well. Offensive tackle Jack Conklin, limited with a hamstring injury. Michael Dunn, another offensive lineman, he was limited with an illness. I'm not sure what that illness is, but he is limited. Defensive end Myles Garrett is limited with an Achilles. That can be a huge blow if Myles Garrett can't go with that Achilles. Whenever you start to get Achilles injuries, I mean, we know when you actually tear your Achilles, you're out for the year. But even if it's strained or anything like that, that can cause huge problems, especially if you're in a position like that with, trying to rush the quarterback and whatnot. Jordan Hicks, linebacker, he didn't practice. He's got ribs, elbow, and tricep injuries. This doesn't sound like that he's probably going to go. Another running back for the Cleveland Browns, Nyheim Hines, also with a knee injury. Offensive tackle, wow. Offensive tackles for the Cleveland Browns. Now, Cleveland fans will be able to tell me, are all these guys starters or are they backups? Because it sounds like your whole offensive line is injured. He didn't practice. James Hudson III, another offensive tackle, limited with a knee injury. Darwin Jones, wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, he did go full practice, so he's probably going to play. Cornerback Greg Newsome II, he was full practice. It's a personal. I don't know what that means. Honestly, I've never seen that on injury report. Tight end David Njoku. Is that how you pronounce his name? He's out with an ankle injury is what it looks like. So Cleveland, they have, here's another offensive lineman limited with an ankle injury. So, and Cleveland's entire backfield is injured. Their offensive line is injured, whether if it's depth players or whether if it's starters, they're pretty banged up. Another defensive end, Alex Wright, he didn't practice, got tricep injuries. Desarius Smith, defensive end, limited with a neck injury. So Cleveland sounds like the walk-in mash unit. They really do. But as we all know, a lot of times you see these names on an injury report and you just assume it's worse than what it really is. And then, sometimes they have to list these guys on injury reports, even if they're just slightly banged up, but it's nothing that would necessarily interfere with them being able to play. So, you can't always look at this and be like, oh man, a lot of these guys who are limited or didn't practice, they're not playing at all. This doesn't always mean that. I've known some players who would not practice at all throughout the week because of injuries, and then they're ready on Sunday. And maybe that might be what happens with Brian Robinson Jr. I would like to hope so. But, if there's an opportunity and we have Austin Eckler, and with the way that McNichols played last week, if Brian Robinson has to be out for a game, then this might be the best opportunity for him. But this is one thing that I've said, and I've always been very cautious. Now that people have seen this Washington Commanders team being 3-1, suddenly the expectations are rising, and you know, I am usually not the one to be, uh, the pessimist, the Debbie Downer, and I'm not trying to be here. I'm just saying that injuries will temper expectations faster than anything. Um, the only other thing faster that would temper expectations is the actual win and loss column. But injuries can play a big part in game planning, and you have certain players who are in certain offensive packages and even on the defensive packages as well. So anytime when those players can't go, then sometimes you can't even use those packages, or you hope that you can use it with the backup. But this happens quite a bit actually, and so um, you know, hopefully though, with Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, he's been so creative with his offensive play calling. Even not having guys like Austin Eckler able to go in there and um, create an offensive um, game plan around the guys that are healthy, and it obviously it worked last week. Even without him, we scored 42 points. So um, I'm not too worried about that. I think we have a play caller who's going to be able to see who he has, and he's going to be able to install packages that's going to play to the best ability of the players that are healthy that will go on Sunday. But hopefully we'll get an official word today as far as Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. for that matter as well. But yeah, man, I mean, there you have it. I do think that Washington will play well. Their defense, it's really going to come down defense, I think, because you got a banged up offensive line for the Cleveland Browns. This is the best time to rush the quarterback. Their backfield is hurt, and so you stop the run, you penetrate through that banged up offensive line. Um, Watson is going to have his hands full. So put it in his hands. If Cleveland's going to beat us, it's going to have to come through the quarterback. And so I think that's what the defensive game plan is probably going to be. So that's definitely, if I'm talking about key points of the game, I'm saying that you get pressure on the offense, you stop the run, you take advantage of the injuries that Cleveland has along the offensive line, and you exploit that as much as you possibly can. And then, yeah, man, you game plan around the guys that you have on offense. Heavy dose of Austin Eckler if he's ready to go. You continue to feed the ball to Terry McLaurin, and you just continue bit by bit to continue to open up that offense for Jaden Daniels. More of the same from last week, really, and exploit whatever speed that the Cleveland Browns may have on defense. You exploit that, misdirection plays, that sort of thing. Their defensive ends are banged up, so take advantage of that. Doesn't mean they're not going to play, but if Myles Garrett, even probably on one leg, he's still better than a lot of players out there. So he's going to be a handful, and he's going to be lined up on that left side going against that left tackle. So if it's Brandon Coleman or if it's Cornelius Lucas, Trent Scott, whoever it may be, you need to make sure that you get him help, maybe double team up on Myles Garrett, and keep that blind side good for for Jaden Daniels. Homer prediction. I do feel like Washington's going to win this game. It's a home game. They're riding high off of a 3-game win streak, with the last 2 games being pretty impressive wins against what I consider pretty good teams. And so I think coming into this game, it could be a trap game. These type of games always seem to be trap games, but I really believe that this is a game that Washington, I mean, there are 3.5 favorites, 3.5, yeah, something like that. They're favorites in this game. So I feel like this is a game they should win. And so if they're 4-1 by the end of Sunday afternoon, I mean, you're looking ahead, you do have Baltimore, but then you got Cleveland. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. You got Carolina. You got the Giants again. You've got games that are winnable. You got Chicago. That's a big game that I can't wait to see, because I know there's going to be a lot of talk after that game. Who was the better quarterback? First round or first pick overall, second pick overall. As right now, obviously, people have skyrocketed Jaden Daniels into the top 5. I think it's a little too early for that. I think you probably need to temper your expectations on that, but he's played really well. I mean, we got a franchise quarterback on our hands, folks. There's no denying that whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, let's temper a little bit on that. Jaden Daniels, he's only been in 4 games, so the knuckle. I always Joe Gibbs used to say this too. The knuckle sandwich is always around the corner, so just keep that in mind. Let's just continue to see what this rookie can do. So far, he's played well, outstanding. I mean, we really hit on an excellent quarterback. So that said, folks, that's my prediction. Washington's going to win. If I give you a score, I don't know. I'm going to say 31-17, because that obviously this offense can show that it can score points. And so that's my prediction. Washington's going to win this one 31-17. Hopefully, we're going to come out of this game relatively healthy. And if we don't have Brian Robinson Jr., then hopefully we'll have him back for the following game. Folks, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. That means a lot. I know you hear about us podcasters all the time saying, give this video a thumbs up. Well, please do, because YouTube's very particular. They don't like to push certain videos, and they don't like to push certain podcasters. And so I need all the help that I can get. So if you would, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video out with others as well. I know there's a lot of Washington Commanders podcasts that are popping up all over the place. But, we've been doing this since 2021, and I really like doing this, and I like talking Washington football. I'm going to keep doing it until I'm not. So anyway, with that said, folks, I will see you in the next one. Take care.